Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is 29th July today, and in this video we are going to discuss some important articles which are very much relevant for your preparation. Before we'll start our discussion, I would like to give you the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. Basically from 2nd June, 2025, we started an initiative here by the name Target IAS 2026. Under this initiative, what we had promised you that every day we will upload two videos. One in the morning session or afternoon session, which is this video, where we will discuss your current affairs, and another in the evening session where we will discuss your static syllabus, so that we will cover your we will lead you in your preparation for your UPSC exam, and eventually we will help you in succeeding the exam. So in this regard, with respect to the static syllabus, we had also promised you one thing, that by the month of January 2026 we are going to cover your full syllabus. Whatever is required for you to clear the exam, we will cover it here, except the only exception is that we are not going to cover your optional subjects. And one more thing, as we are delivering these lectures, at the same time we are preparing your notes. These notes are written in a very different way, which are very different from the conventional ones. And to get the service of these notes, if you want, it is your discretion, you would be told to pay 200 rupees per subject. This is up to you. If you want to get the service of these notes, it is totally up to you. These are written in a different way. They will contain everything whatever is required for you to clear the exam. This is what we can say about them. And also with respect to the static portion which we are discussing right now, we had already completed Indian polity full, whether related to prelims or mains, everything we had covered. And now currently we are discussing the governance part. So today it would be the 5th lecture of governance. This is about the initiative. If you want to be the part of it, please do subscribe, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. And please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now, without any delay, let's start our discussion. Looking at the first article, as you can see, it is about the joint statement which was given by 30 countries, especially the UK and France and Italy were the part of it, about Gaza, how to save the Gaza, the atrocities they are facing right now from the Israeli side. So they gave the joint statement, and it in a way highlighted the issue of Gaza, how the people in the Gaza are confined. Approximately the population of Gaza when October 7, what was the population of Gaza? It is estimated that it was around, I guess it was around 2 million. Approximately around 2.3 million was the population in 2000. 2.3 million was the population in 2023. And by time after October 7, we saw that how Israel retaliated, and the unproportionate warfare they started on the people of Gaza. And many countries, they call it genocide, and many people recognize it as a genocide. So approximately almost 60,000 people have died so far. 60,000 people have died so far. And eventually now the countries who were the part of, who were the allies of US and Israel, now they had started to divorce themselves from these atrocities which are conducted on the people of Gaza, especially the countries like France, Italy and UK. And they gave the joint statement that it should be this war, it should be curbed, there should be ceasefire, and the freedom should be given to the people of Gaza. And even the France, they recognized the Palestine as the separate state. So with respect to this, they saw the retaliation from the Israel and UK. As usually they say that the statements which UK, France and Italy are making, and these 30 countries are making right now, it is very much against the what we felt on October 7. For Israelis, for the people who are supporting Israel as a country, and for the people who are supporting US as a country, they are still believing that it started on October 7. Indeed, what happened on the October 7 cannot be defended. nobody with sane mind can defend it. But the retaliation should have been very much proportionate. What were the motives of Israel when this attack happened? First, they, first to free the people who were kidnapped. First to free them. Then the second, to show the Israel, to show the Palestine that this kind of, to deter the Palestine, to deter the people of Gaza from doing such act in the near future, for deterring them to do such acts. But had they really succeeded in it? And also the third one was to end the Hamas, to end the Hamas. Eventually, the second one was to deter the Hamas in doing such activity. Had they actually succeeded in it? If we will see, had they freed these people? No, they had not freed. Even many people died because of their attacks. This is what the reports say. And had they deterred Gaza? Had they deterred the Hamas? I don't think so. The Hamas is still there. They had not from 2023, almost 2 years are about to complete, and still it is going on, and they had not deterred. They had not ended Hamas. And what is the result of it? It is the result is, in general words, if we will see, if anybody will have the sane mind, it is the genocide on the people of Gaza. They are trying to kill. What is genocide? They are in which the people try to kill the whole race or a whole tribe or a whole identity. It can be done in many ways. It can be done by stopping the by stopping their reproduction. It can be done by starving them, and this is exactly what is happening right now in Gaza. So the world is watching it. The people in the world, they have the same mentality. They are watching it. The West is watching it now, and they had recognized now enough is enough, and they had withdrawn their support which they used to give to Israel with respect to this war, with respect to this genocide. And they had realized that in this world we cannot support such kind of killings. And eventually they gave this joint statement that the people in Gaza, they should be freed. There should be the ceasefire, and they also recognized the Palestine as the separate state. So as I told you, it was not very much liked by Israel and its allies, special allies US and Germany. So they retaliated to this statement and said that it is humiliating to the people who died on October 7. So this is what they said. So it is. And in this article, what his author is trying to highlight, that it is prime time for the world now. You are watching what is happening in Gaza. The children are starving. Everywhere you open the phone, you will see you will see how children are dying there. When they go to the construction site, when they try to get the food from the helpers, when they reach there and they get killed there. So these issues are very much evident in the world right now. And the author is trying to say that it is prime time for the world to push this narrative, to make this joint statement. Its voice should be heard in the world, and eventually it should be the reason. We should make this as a reason to end the war in the Gaza. So this is what this article is about. With this, let's move to the another article and see what we had brought there. Well, the article is about why antitrust regulations are pertinent. So first of all, we should know what is this antitrust regulations. What are these antitrust regulations? So let's try to understand it. For example, let us suppose there is only one manufacturer. He is manufacturing anything. Suppose he is manufacturing your shoes, and there is only one manufacturer, and they are manufacturing it. So what advantages they can get through this? They can alter prices at their will. They can do whatever they want to do. They can stop the supplies, and eventually they can raise the prices. They can stop the supplies. They can change the designs according to their will. So it eventually, what it will lead to? Eventually it will lead to that it will lead to this, people will eventually suffer. It is the people who will suffer, the consumers will suffer. So in order to have this balance in the market, there should be many manufacturers, there should be many many manufacturers who are making the shoes. There should be many companies who are making the shoes. Now there would be many companies, but let's suppose this, the first company which was there, it is so powerful that it will not let them boom. It will always curb them, or it will force them to sell their companies. It will do various activities to favor itself, and eventually control the market, have the monopoly over the market. So in this regard, don't we need anything, don't we need the interference from the government? Indeed, we need the interference from the government, and the government should give us the best regulations, best regulations by which we can control by which this monopoly in the market can be controlled. And this is done by these antitrust regulations. This is done through antitrust regulations. So so this would be achieved by these antitrust regulations. Now with respect to this, we understood that why these antitrust regulations are important. But let's try to understand brief history of antitrust regulations. How did they came into existence? It was actually, the date was 1890, when there was a person called John Sherman. He was from USA. He said that if we cannot accept a king in our way of life, how can we accept a king in manufacturing? That how there should be only one manufacturer and control it in whatever way he wants to control it. There should be the diversity in it. There should be no monopoly in it, and it should be controlled. And eventually it led to the Sherman Act, and these antitrust laws were encouraged, and these anti-competition, and the competition was encouraged. These antitrust laws, regulations came in, and the competition was encouraged. So with respect to India, if we look at India, which act, or which commission deals with the antitrust? Do you have any idea? It is the Competition Commission of India. Competition Commission of India, which deals with these antitrust regulations. So, but it is right now, if we will see this Competition Commission of India or these antitrust regulations, it is fine with the other markets, with hard market, it is fine. But with respect to the digital market, it is not that good right now with respect in India, because what is happening right now, in India, in the digital market, there are global giants like Google is there, or Amazon is there. There are these global giants, and if you want to, for example, if you want to, there is a digital market in India too. You are a web designer. You want your digital market to boom. You have your own apps. You want to do whatever you want to do, and eventually you are listing your app on the Google. So this Google, what it does, it also manipulates the market. It will not, first of all, it can be very much biased towards the person, as it is enjoying this monopoly. It can be very much biased to these new startups. Their listing on the Google would be very difficult, or they may delist these apps but at any space. And also, especially if you had seen with respect to the real money gaming apps, Google, it only allows few apps. For example, daily fantasy supports or rummy. It allows these apps in countries like India. It used to allow it in Brazil and Mexico. But eventually, if you want to list any other app, it would not give this space to these new startups. So the point is, what is the issue with this? What is the issue with respect to this? So many countries in the world, especially in the Europe, they are bringing in these regulations which are forcing Google to act normally, to act unbiased. So here the question is raised that India should also bring in such regulations which will help this digital market to boom. Approximately, if we will see 11.74 11.74% of our is the GDP of the digital market. So if we want to boom it, we need this space. There should be the unbiasedness in this market. Every startup should be given the opportunity to grow. So with respect to this, definitely, they should be allowed, it should be regulated. There is the need for the regulations, and in India we lack this right now. So it is the time for India to realize that this digital market is as important as the hard market, I say. And the monopoly enjoyed by the Google, it is harming our business. And definitely there is the need for the regulations. This is what this article is actually about. So with this, what kind of question can be asked in the exam? Let's have a look at it. Here the question says, with reference to Competition Commission of India, consider the following statement. It is a statutory body established under the Competition Act 2002, correct? Its primary objective is to promote and sustain competition in markets and protect the interests of consumers. That's also true. It consists of a chairperson and not more than 6 members appointed by the central government. That's also true. So which of the statements given above are correct? All the three are correct. So with this, I hope you had understood this question as well as the article here. Now let's move to the another article. Let's see what we had brought here. Well, the article is about the medical boundaries for Ayush practitioners. This there is always a debate about Ayush practitioners and the modern doctors, or we can say modern medicine, or we can say allopathy practitioners. That these modern doctors or modern medical practices, they don't deem these Ayush practitioners as the doctors. They don't accept them as the doctors, and they don't allow them to. They don't believe that they should be allowed to to recommend the medicines from the allopathy. This is the whole idea behind it. How it started, actually, what is the recent debate? It revolves around the Doctors' Day, when it was celebrated on the 1st July 2025, when it was celebrated on the 1st July. Well, why it is celebrated on the 1st July? For that, we should know that it is the death anniversary of Dr. B.C. Roy. Dr. B.C. Roy. It is the death anniversary of Dr. B.C. Roy, and in India it is celebrated on 1st July 2000. On 1st July every year, this Doctor's Day is celebrated. So on this day, there was a person. We don't need to know who he is. Not that important for us. But he said that he started a discussion over the Ayush practitioners, like who are these Ayush practitioners? They are homeopathy practitioners, they may be Unani or Ayurvedic doctors. And this debate started in India whether they should be considered the doctors or not, or they real doctors or not. And this debate is not something which started on 1st July. It is not like the Israel, what they are saying, that their conflict started from the 7 October. It goes way back, it has a history behind it. And if we look at the modern medicine in India, if we will see how it started, how it got the recognition in India. Basically, we have to, its recognition, it started way back in 1946, when there was the Sir Joseph Bohr Committee, which gave recommendations on the and on those recommendations this whole modern medical system developed. And with respect to this, it realized that this traditional medical system, it lacks this statistics, it lacks the empirical use, it lacks the practical use. There is no data with respect to the traditional medicine, whether it is useful or not, is it having a great impact or not. It is one debate. What I believe, that is something different. But what the debate is, that is here, that these allopathy, these homeopathy, or this traditional medicine, it is there, it is reality, but is it useful? does it have real impact on the people or the on the diseases? That is something different. So with respect to this, this debate is here whether they are doctors or not. And it was 1946 when modern medicine came in, and by the Sir Joseph Bohr committee, which gave its recommendations. And eventually in 1948 also, when there was the time that nationalism was on its peak, and it wanted to connect the people to the idea of the nationalism, and committee on indigenous system of medicines came in, and it also recognized this committee on indigenous system of medicine. It recognized that this traditional medicine is as useful in a way as the modern medicine. Now, what is the approach of the present? What is present situation? The government, they had tried their best that to mix the two. That they had tried to mix the two, the modern medicine with the traditional medicine. They had tried to recognize the traditional medicine too, and especially this started way back from 1970s. In 1950s and 60s, there was least importance given to them, but from 1970s this started. The governments, they tried to bring in this to decrease the gap between the two, and they try to merge the two. But the here situation is different. We cannot merge them. The author here highlights that merging the two is not the solution. What is the better solution? That they should be, the modern medicine and the traditional medicines, they should be treated differently. There should be different investments, and the way we look into these domains, it should be done very differently. There should be no mixing. We should not allow the Ayurvedic practitioner or the Ayush practitioners or these Unani practitioners. We should not allow them to prescribe the medicine from the modern medicine. We should not allow them to prescribe the medication from the modern medicine, because they don't have the expertise in it. They have not studied them. There should be separate investments in their domain. They should be allowed to do whatever they want to do, but with respect to modern medication, they should be separated from it. This is the discussion, and it is also what is highlighted by the Supreme Court, by the Supreme Court judgment too. They also highlighted that there should be separation between the two. But here the issue is that with respect to the we have, in this regard, we have the drugs and cosmetics rules 1945. Drugs and cosmetics rules 1945, which says that, which it defines that the registered medicine, who is the registered, who would be the person who would prescribe these medications. And it does not define that he should be the doctor, he should have done MPPS. And it has been kept to the state. It has been kept to the state. State will describe about it, who will be allowed to prescribe these medications. It is up to the state. The state will allow them whether this person would be allowed to prescribe it, whether only doctors can prescribe it, or it is the it is the Unani practitioner or Ayurvedic practitioner. He should prescribe these medicines. So with respect to this, there is debate, and it is totally the Supreme Court has kept it for the states. And with respect to this, what different states are doing. There are medical colleges, and they know that to have a doctor who has done MBBS degree, it would be very much costly for them to hire him. So what they do, they approach to the BAMS graduate and hire him, and he is hired on lower pay, and he prescribes this medication. And eventually what we are seeing, that it is having the worst impacts on the people. Eventually it is having the worst impacts on the patients, because they don't have the expertise, they don't have the knowledge in these medication, they don't know how they work. They just get the basic training, and they know for a headache which tablet to give, and it is very much known to everyone. When the conditions are complex, then that time it is the patients who suffer. And right now there should be the broader classification of it. Ayush practitioners, they should be separated from the allopathy practitioners, the modern practitioners. there should be a separation between the two. And if we want to develop the traditional medicine, we should invest separately into that and let the people choose where to go. So this is the whole idea of this article. Now with this, let's move to the another article. Let's have a little look at it. What does it say? It highlights that India has the highest number of slum clusters in the flood prone areas. What does it say? India, it has the highest it has the highest number of slum clusters in the flood prone areas. So this is one of the issue. For example, if you want to live in any metro city and your economic condition is not that great, so it becomes very difficult for you to live in a metro city. So what do you choose? You still have to live in that, you have to work there, you have to do various activities there. So the person who has limited economic support, so what he does, he goes to these far-flung areas in this region, which are and there these slums get constructed and they start living there. And these slums are usually near the water banks. These slums are usually in the near the river banks. And these river banks, what the issue with them is that with these river banks, what is the greater issue there? That these river banks, there would be flooding would be there, and because of this flooding they will deposit sediments there, and these sediments they remain there, and this gives rise to these slums. And when the people live there, they get highly impacted by these floods whenever they come. But for the municipalities, these are the no construction zones. For the municipalities, they believe that there is no construction, and these are the people who are getting most affected by it. It would be very much concentrated. It would be concentrated. There would be no hygiene, no good hygienic conditions. There would be huge pollution there, and most of the disease they occur from these regions, and eventually it is the people they get impacted. These poor people, they get impacted, and whenever there is any famine or whenever there is any spread of disease, it is these people who get impacted. So with respect to this, there are high vulnerabilities with respect to these people. They get impacted by the floods, they get impacted by these diseases. And with respect to the municipalities, they believe that these areas are no development zones. For them, there is no construction. But in reality, there is construction. And in India, as the author highlights, that we have the highest number of slum clusters in the flood-prone areas. And eventually, the idea is that they are getting impacted. And the reason for that is they in the main cities, they cannot afford. So it is eventually it is the duty of the states to take care of them, to give them the habitation, to give them the houses, to develop the houses for them. Or at least if they cannot do it, so they should control these areas. There should be good sanitation, water supply should be there, toilets should be there, and all these basic necessities should be given to these people, and protection to these people. This is what the article is actually trying to highlight here. Now let's move to the another article. Well, here the debate is over the Maharashtra's new security bill. What does the article says? What is this Maharashtra's new security bill? This question was answered by the government. What they are saying, that it is the we have the problem of Naxalites. The problem of Naxalites is there in our country, in our state. And there is the another problem, another issue is of the urban Naxalites. What is this urban Naxalites? They will support these rural Naxals. They will either support them financially or ideologically they will support them. So there is a prime time, there is a time we should curb these Naxalites. So this Maharashtra, so in this regard, the Maharashtra came up with this special public security bill. But with respect to this special public security bill which the Maharashtra came out with, the opposition is not liking them. Why? Because we already have the UAPA Act. When we have so much legislation, why do we need another legislation to come in and to control, to have another draconian legislation where you can declare any organization as the unlawful? You can declare any organization, you can ban any organization. So it has the high chances of the misuse. it has high chances of the misuse. And also, if we will see under this bill, there are provisions that the lower courts are are kept alone with respect to dealing with such cases. Courts cannot review such cases. So it is eventually it is going to impact the people, it is eventually going to impact the organizations if they start opposing the government. So in this regard, there is huge tussle between the government and the opposition. This bill has passed by the oral votes. It has passed, but the question is whether it will stand in the Supreme Court or the High Court. That is some separate question. Definitely it will go to the courts. This bill will go to the courts, and once this act will be formed, it will go to the courts, and then we will see how courts will how the courts will react to it. So the main idea behind this special provisions, Maharashtra Special Public Security Bill, is that to curb the urban Naxalism, the way they are supporting it. And another question which was raised to the Maharashtra government there, that you are telling that way the Naxalism is confined to only few districts now. So if you had confined it, if you had controlled Naxalism so far, what was the necessity of bringing in such bill? So this is another question which is raised to them, and let's see what will happen when this bill will be passed, when it will become an act, and then let's see what will courts do with respect to this. Till now, this much is important for you, and we had already discussed this bill in our one of the previous sessions too. So with this, let's move to the last article. Basically, this was a picture in the newspaper today, which is basically about the Badaga community, Badaga community, which is dwelling in the Nilgiris, and the language they speak the Kannada language, which is the mixture of Kannada and a sect of Kannada language, which is the mixture of Kannada and Tamil. So for them there is a harvest season, harvest festival, which is named as the Dawaba festival. It was celebrated at the Kadanath village. So with respect to this Dawaba festival, let's see what kind of question can be asked in the exam. Let's get some idea about the Dawaba festival. About this festival, the question says, with reference to the Dawaba festival, consider the following statements. First statement is a harvest and Thanksgiving festival primarily celebrated by the Badaga community. 100% correct, nothing wrong with it. It is predominantly celebrated in the Nilgiris district of Tamil Nadu. That is also true. The festival traditionally involves roasting newly harvested potatoes in an open fire as an offering. That's also true. So with respect to this question, all the three statements are correct. All the three statements are correct. With this, we had completed our today's discussion. I hope you would have liked this video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I hope you would subscribe the channel. And I also hope you will wait for my evening class and get benefited from that too. With this, I would end this discussion. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.